Hey YouTube! We're in Baltimore, Maryland. Loudon Park Cemetery for Joyce. So let me just begin saying it is impossible to count all of the heartbreaking, infuriating, and terrifying things highlighted in Netflix's docuseries The Keepers. But one of the most distressing aspects of that true crime expose is the story of Joyce Malecki, a 20-year-old Baltimore woman who disappeared 4 days after Sister Catherine Cesnik, the 26-year-old nun and Catholic high school teacher. Joyce worked for a liquor company. She was young, pretty, and dating someone at Fort Meade. She was close to her family, had 3 brothers. She was out shopping for Christmas presents and disappeared on Veterans Day. So I'm not sure why her boyfriend would have been confined to the base, but that's the story I read in the case. She was supposed to pick him up later for dinner, but never arrived. Her brother found their family car the following day, which Joyce was driving, with her keys still in the car's ignition and her Christmas packages on the car seat. Her glasses she used for driving were on the dashboard. And then 2 days later, her body was found by hunters on a Thursday morning, floating face down in a river with her hands tied behind her back. I checked the records, and it appears that people were allowed to hunt on the base in 1969. So she had been rolled over a muddy 6-foot bank into the river, located in a deserted training area on Fort Meade, the Fort Meade Military Reservation. There were cuts and bruises on her body and a single stab wound to her neck. The medical examiner says she had struggled violently with her slayer and had been raped before dying. Her abduction had several disturbing parallels between hers and Sister Cathy's disappearance, and I personally believe there is a link between Joyce and Sister Cathy's murders. I think that one of the people involved with Sister Cathy's disappearance is responsible for Joyce's. I think this person developed a taste for killing and wanted to do it right without the mistakes made in Sister Cathy's murder. Both women were very pretty, both loved in the community, lived in the same area, both were out shopping for holiday gifts, both abducted around the same time. Joyce disappeared 4 days after Sister Cathy, and each of their cars were found abandoned after they went missing. Joyce also spent time around Father Joseph Maskell, the child rapist, who is the top suspect in Sister Cathy's murder. He happens to be buried 20 minutes away from here at a small Catholic cemetery. Yeah. Anyway, both their deaths hit the community very hard, especially since the police investigations did not lead to a single arrest. And at the time, Father Maskell was highly influential in the Baltimore area. On top of working at Archbishop Keogh High School, he served as chaplain for the Baltimore County Police, the Maryland National Guard, and the Maryland State Police. And his brother was a well-known police officer in the area. He was friends with everyone on the force, and many people in the community also attended his masses each Sunday, which naturally made parents feel very safe about putting their children in his care. So in such a Catholic-heavy area, the police department and the Baltimore Archdiocese were tightly woven together. So if Sister Cathy happened to find out what Father Maskell was allegedly doing to the students and threatened to go public about it and expose him, well, Father Maskell would have had a deep well of connections to help him keep her quiet. And I also wonder why the medical examiner was from Baltimore City when she lived in Odenton, which is 20 miles away, and was shopping in Glen Burnie and was found at Fort Meade. Anyway, in the aftermath of these 2 murders, many amateur sleuths have pondered whether Joyce's murder was an intentional distraction from Sister Cathy's disappearance, like an attempt, I guess, to deter law enforcement from focusing on the likely ties to the Catholic Church and set them looking for a serial killer instead. And then the most upsetting part of Joyce Malecki's murder is the mishandling of the case by law enforcement. Because her body was found on a military base, that's federal property, so it was determined to be under the FBI's jurisdiction. However, the FBI claims to have handed the case over to the county law enforcement after determining it was not a federal issue. But the Arundel County Police told the Keepers filmmakers that the FBI never handed everything over to them. So, therefore, Joyce's death was never fully investigated. Yep. Several of Joyce's family members, including a brother, who repeatedly petitioned for her case to be reopened in recent years, died while awaiting answers about her death. So not much is known to this day about Joyce's fate. But I hope that the recent buzz around her case, thanks to the Keepers' success, I hope it will result in action from authorities and long-deserved answers for her remaining loved ones. Joyce, you are not forgotten, and he will be exposed. I'm so sorry this happened to you. May you rest in peace.